Well, folks, you went and did it.
We have a live animal.
Yep.
We also have a guy in a green shirt. Oh no, I did that the wrong way. I screwed it up. I was gonna say there's also a chicken. I was gonna make some joke.
Okay, I see.
I screwed it up. I messed it up horribly. Good thing that was before we were actually on the air.
Yes. Civic Media's own Ozzy Osbourne is here.
All right, we got about 30 seconds till we kick
Here we
off
go.
the show.
Here we go. Here we go.
On location, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin.
And if you start digging,
on
then you know
Civic Media Radio
you're doing
Network.
chicken.
It's the Todd Allbaugh Show.
We lost control 30 seconds in.
We are live here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in Chippewa Falls. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Friday, TGIF, the 11th of July, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Glad to have you along here live in Chippewa Falls. Aaron Zommers, our producer engineer, back at the old world headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin. And joining me once again for the entire show, my friend, my colleague here at Civic Media, and the host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow every morning on many of these stations from 6 until 9, Mr. Pat Kreitlow. Are you ready for day 2, Pat?
The Hump Day Camel was not available. I was happy to fill in its stead. You did this.
I did it.
this.
We talked to Rusty Volk, the executive director of the State Fair yesterday, and we said, Rusty, I really want to have a live animal on this show. Can we bring a live animal into this building?
And folks, he did it. I came walking in here just a moment ago, and there was a young lady sitting here with a chicken, a live chicken
It's
on the table.
fantastic.
The most gentle. I don't. What do you have that chicken narked up on? But it is just so still and.
I know, it's a very docile chicken,
Yes.
a docile bird.
We should introduce our guest.
We'll in just a second. Big show today coming up in just a few minutes in the first hour here. The Washington County executive and a Republican candidate for governor, Josh Shulman, is going to be here on the program, stopping by to say hello. And then at 2:30, BJ Hollers and Steve Dayton of Fireside Productions talking about their new documentary on Coob. Of course, the national championships taking place this weekend in Eau Claire. Hour number 2, then at 3 o'clock hour, a What's Worse, Sunburn or Frostbite. And then at 3:20, our friend and colleague Mike McKay from WCFW 105.7 FM will be here to discuss what's going on the music side of the Chippewa Valley. And at 3:35, Ken Szymanski, teacher and author of his new book featuring the Northern Wisconsin State Fair, will be here. So a huge show.
And your mom.
Oh, yeah,
She's
Mom is here.
Literally right there.
Yes, Mom, Miss Linda, is here once again. Our Anthony Anderson version of Mom.
She's
Mama.
taking care of my bucket of cookies that I brought in for you all.
Yes, we're going to talk fair food in hour 2. Look, Pat brought in these beautiful fair chocolate chip cookies. We're going to talk about food, fair food as well. But first, let's start off right away with one of our exhibitors here, and a wonderful person. She was so kind to come on very short notice. My sister Heather and I were walking through the small animal barn, and we saw these great chickens.
Trolling.
And yes, and here we have Kaylee High, a recent graduate of Stanley Boyd High School here in the area. Kaylee, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really, really cool. So introduce your bird here. What is her name, and what is her
What is this?
No, I mean, I know it's a hen, but I mean, what's the line of bird? I don't know how to
Yeah, okay. So this is
breed.
Sue.
Yeah.
She's a Dominique, and she's 6 years old.
6 year, a Dominique, did you call them hens or chickens?
Hens. It's both.
Dominique hen, and her name is Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Pat was saying it's a very docile bird.
Yeah, she's kind of been everywhere with me. She was one of my very first chickens I got, and so,
Really?
yep, 6 years strong. She's still going.
So, does your family farm in the area?
Yeah, we have a farm over in Stanley, Wisconsin.
What dairy or cattle or?
We kind of have a little bit of everything. It used to be a dairy farm, and then about 4 years ago, we switched over to beef. So now my brother shows steers.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Would have been a little messy to have a steer come in. so we decided on that.
We take care of the bull ourselves over here.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
are just fine. This is the first chicken I've ever. This could be an emotional support animal coming on a plane.
Right, yeah.
An emotional support chicken. You were so gentle.
Yeah.
Always?
Yeah, this is her all the time.
Wow.
How old were you when you first? Did you do this through 4-H when you first started showing?
Yeah, so I started in 4-H, and then I showed all 6 years throughout 4-H, and then I joined FFA and started my own poultry team. But I started in 5th grade and then got my first chickens in 6th grade. So.
That's well, we were telling this story off the air. My sister and I had a terrible experience. We tried to sneak a little chick into my mom's basement, and it did not turn out well. You need to have proper training. Did your parents kind of show you about small animals growing up, or did you learn that through FFA or 4-H?
It was kind of just a learn as you go type thing. We had never had chickens. My grandma had chickens, so she kind of gave us like the starting stuff, and then from there on, it was just me trying to figure out what I was doing.
But you would agree with Todd's mom not trying to raise a chicken in the basement in a cardboard without your mom knowing. Okay. And when you show chickens at a fair, what are the judges looking for?
Yeah, so they're looking for if they have all their feathers, the brightness of their skin. The younger they are and the better layers they are, the brighter their skin's going to be. They check like the length of like their pelvis and their sternum and all those kind of things.
So our measurements involved. They have to go through that.
They have to measure them with your fingers and
all right.
know it from there. Yeah, pretty much.
I had no idea, Pat. There was, and I grew up in a rural
neither.
community in southwest Wisconsin with county fairs. I did not know there was this much detail to judging chickens.
I have to tell you an honest to God story. My first time coming to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair 30 years ago, and we're going through the barns, and they were judging rabbits at the time. I don't know if have you had any in your family on the farm?
Yeah.
There? Okay. The judge is talking to the whole crowd about the rabbits and saying all the things about what they're judging on, and the judge honestly says, "Now, if it were up to me, these rabbits would already be like field dressed and prepared,
Oh my gosh.
so you could see the muscular structure and blah blah blah." And Sherry and I are just horrified. Like, this is how they judge animals? Is the judge's name Ed Gein?
Yeah,
I mean, what is
terrible.
Now, I've never heard that since, but it was a terrible introduction to animal judging at the
Yeah.
fair. I mean, I get that with the cattle, when they're
right.
auctioned, they're they're going to be turned into
Burger yeah.
or whatever. And I do have to admit that today is National Kebab Day, and my initial thing to bring into you, but I ate it first.
I'm glad you did it. It
It's
could have devastated poor
it was
Sue.
a chicken kebab.
It could have devastated poor Sue.
It was, yes.
We're talking with Kaylee High here from Stanley Boyd High School. She is in the small animal division and showing her hen Sue here. Pick up on that. So my sister Heather and Pat and his wife went to dinner. We went to dinner last night, and our server was talking about, was it her brother or somebody in her family was showing a steer?
Yes.
And it did better than they thought, and it was like he had raised this animal for a long time, and now
They were bringing in two, and the one that they thought for sure was going to be the champion, like, had a bad experience, walked funny or whatever that one time, and then the other one turned out to be a reserve champion. So, I mean, you don't know until you're in the moment being judged.
You can take your best guess, but yeah, that's about it. You just have to go for it. So.
But talk to us a little bit about this. Yes, you're raising them, and if they do well, then obviously they're not going to be around any longer. But you become attached to these animals, right?
Yeah, I know. Last year, my brother was glad to see his go. His was very naughty last year, but this year, yeah, he was a little upset about it because he had a very sweet one this year.
And this isn't like Miss America. They don't move up. There's not a competition in West Allis and then beyond.
Right.
Anything like
it's
that.
a culmination.
I don't know much about it, but I do know that it's almost a requirement for them to go to auction unless they don't make weight, or if they are sick, then you kind of have to take them home and try to sell them there. You want them to go to auction most of the time because you spend a lot of money trying to get them in a feed, and you want to be able to pay it off. So.
Well, Sue, it's been fun. I mean,
Well, Sue's been here 6 years.
Yep. So chickens and rabbits don't go. It's
okay.
just hoof stock.
You hear that, rabbit judge?
Right.
You cool.
And you were talking a little bit before we went on the air. my mom, Miss Linda over there, asked a good question about, because there's all sorts of different naturally colored eggs. How does that happen? Is it certain breeds of hens?
Yeah, so it's actually, you can buy the breed specifically made for the color egg you want. So if you want an olive egger, you're going to get some green eggs. And if you want an Easter egger, you'll get anywhere from pink to blue eggs. So
An
it's pretty
Easter
cool.
egger, that's what we need, Pat.
Easter egger, yes. How often is it that people start their chicks by getting them from like a neighbor or somebody else in the community? Because one of the things we heard about when they were talking about Postal Service cutbacks and things is that there's also the mailing of like live chicks and things like that.
Yeah, no, so I've always gotten mine from the mail.
You've gotten your
yeah.
chicks from the mail.
Yep, you go pick them up from the post office once they get here, and you just kind of hope that the post office doesn't lose them. I can't say much. My mom works for the post office, so she'll be very mad at me.
Good for her. We love our postal workers.
Yes. But yeah, it's pretty often, and then there is groups kind of everywhere that you can buy chickens from then too. So.
Wow. A couple more minutes left. Talk to us a little bit about, and I know it's fun, it's coming to the fair, that sort of thing. I've known a lot of people in 4-H over the years. Talk to us a little bit about what you've learned in raising hens in terms of just responsibility and how has it prepared you? I know you said you're going to college next year in Iowa. How has it prepared you in how you live your life and how you carry yourself?
Yeah, so especially raising chickens, it takes a lot of remembering last time you collected eggs, remembering when you went and fed them. What did you feed them? Are you making sure they get the right nutrients? Are you getting close to fair? Do you need to start feeding them some extra stuff? And so it's kind of just making sure you actually check on your birds. And they are one of the easier animals to show, so I'm a little lucky there. But also kind of going forward, I know like compassion, like every animal has a different type of personality, especially chickens. They're all different, so you kind of have to figure out how to deal with all that.
I'm sorry, did you say what you were going to be studying?
Yeah, I'm going for Spanish. I want to be a medical interpreter. So.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right. What children in Mexico then say what a chicken says what?
It's Pio Pio.
Pio Pio.
Really?
Yeah. The chickens learn a whole different language down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know my friends in El Salvador, when they say, what does a chicken say? It's kikadikadi.
Yep.
Not cockadoodle-doo.
Yep.
Yep,
Oh.
yep, I've heard that as well.
Kikadikadi. Not cockadoodle-doo.
Okay.
So it's a Spanish chicken, Pat.
Wow. Okay. Is this something you do in the future? I mean, would you want to live in a rural setting, maybe on your own little hobby farm versus
Yeah,
a city?
I want to have chickens for the rest of my life. I
You
can't
do?
imagine not having chickens. So.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's
It
really
is.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just appreciate you coming on so much. I think that too often, Pat and I talk about that young people spend too much time on screens and things like older people spend too much time on screens too. But I'm just always uplifted by young people in 4-H and FFA who are getting out there. And I know, as your generation says, touch grass, literally and figuratively. I just think it's great.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. I've met some very cool people through 4-H and FFA, and I'm very honored to be part of it.
But I have to ask, with Minecraft and the movie, and a lot of kids like to play Minecraft. I've got my two oldest grandsons go crazy for Minecraft. And then we saw the movie. How often has Sue had to hear the lava chicken song? From
Too
the
much.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
See.
Pat's in the know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Really?
Steve's lava
Way
chicken.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of chicken jockey. I went and brought her to like a 4th grade thing for like FFA. It was they got to meet all sorts of animals, and I heard it too much, and she
Did they
heard
throw
it too
popcorn
much.
at any
and-
point?
Yeah. No, it wasn't great.
When you said we saw one of the other was a hen or a rooster, I said, "How about that?" When you're like, "No, I'm not bringing him over. He's
No,
too mean."
She's very food motivated, so she thinks all you have is food, and she will peck at you. So I was
Really?
like, she's
Oh.
not coming with.
Oh.
There are different personalities,
Yes.
Pat.
Oh, yes, there are. I mean, I had to be careful bringing in the big bucket of cookies. Otherwise, he was just going to be pecking away until we fed this guy after the show.
Here's a ridiculous question, but Sue here, does she laying eggs?
Yeah. So she's not laying anymore, but she did used to. She's too old. She's just kind of. She might lay
really?
like one a year. But that's about it.
So chickens go through menopause?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah,
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah. Basically.
This is a post-menopausal chicken. My sisters can relate.
The arm pump over there is a little too enthusiastic, but we
I
understand.
didn't know that.
I
That's
know.
great. Well, it's just been a pleasure. Kaylee High from Staley Boyd High School. Thank you for spending this
thank
time with us.
you.
And congrats on graduation. And best of luck. What university in Iowa?
University of Northern Iowa, down in
Great.
Cedar Falls.
It's a great university.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck and
you.
everything.
Thank
All right.
you.
A pleasure. We'll come back and talk with Josh Shulman on the other side.
You
Pat
did
Kreitlow
it.
and Todd with yes, a live
Brought
animal
in a live.
from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair live on location.
doubt you again.
Come on back after this.
Lava chicken.
News and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Blind Shot Social Club, a perfect blend of cool, casual dining, indoor golf with space for events, craft cocktails, and non-alcoholic drinks too. A hidden gem on Madison's East Side. Blind Shot Social Club, open to everyone. BlindShotSocialClub.com.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Check here.
There we go.
All right, just your name,
Test
what you're
one.
running for.
Josh Schoeman, SCHOEMANN, Washington County Executive, running for governor.
Mr. Sommers back in Madison. Does it sound all right for a voice check?
Yep. Sounds
All right.
good.
Sounds good. We got, minute and a half?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Aaron?
Yeah,
All right.
87 to 89. Larry Tainter was running the place at
Okay.
the time.
Okay.
And, of course, Steve Siegel and Karen Siegel were working there. Bob Bonifant.
Bob Bonifant. There you go.
Yeah, that's an old school right there. Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Oh, they were. I guess it's in a better
Radio's
place
changed a
now.
little bit
I was
since
going
then.
to say, it was in that little white house right next to the railroad tracks when I was there, and I guess it's moved to better quarters since, I hope.
Yeah, I would say I don't know about better, but they're over by the hockey rink on the south side of town now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of an office building.
Okay.
Yeah.
45 seconds or so till we're.
Where are you now, Pat?
I'm here in Chippewa. Been here for
nice.
30 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, cool. That's really neat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Paparazzi.
All right, 30
All right,
seconds.
All right, here we go.
Don't spill that.
Pat spilled his yesterday.
And I forgot the cup today. Don't get the refills. Oh,
We just got our second.
all right, 10 seconds.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. We are live on location in beautiful Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin for the Northern Wisconsin State Fair, along with Pat Kreitlow, host of Mornings of Pat Kreitlow every morning across the network on 6 until 9. Glad to have you along. Pat, you never know who you're going to run into at the fair. While Heather and I were out trying to find a live animal, Stu the chicken.
Look who you found.
We ran into a candidate for governor. That's the great thing about coming to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. You can have good food, you can have family fun, and you can meet people that you want to just strike up a conversation with as well.
And that's what running for governor or anything legislature is all about. So Josh Schoeman is here, the Washington County Executive, and first Republican announced candidate for governor for 2026.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be up here.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Why don't we just start off with, for those that might not know you, you're from Southeast Wisconsin, but tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, what you did, and why you're running for governor.
Yeah, so I'm the Washington County Executive. I was born in Hartford, so Washington County originally. I'm the son of a Lutheran minister and a registered nurse. And my folks moved around a lot when I was a youngster, and mostly the eastern part of the state. Middle school and high school years in Kewanee. So I'm a graduate of Manitowoc Lutheran High School. And my wife and I have been married 24 years this year.
Congrats.
And thank you very much. I'm a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was with the Madison unit, the 147th Black Hawk unit in Iraq in 2003. And when I came back, I dedicated the rest of my life to the service and sacrifice of the guys and gals who didn't make it back, either in whole or in part, and reflecting the love of my Lord Jesus by loving my neighbor. So that's what put me into public service, and I've been in municipal administration for 15, almost 20 years, and county executive for the last 6 in Washington County.
So when you're looking at the Republican primary right now, and first of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity to work for former Congressman Scott Klug and handle military affairs. I never served, but I have a great appreciation for our veterans, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
But when you look at this Republican primary, there's another person who announced a couple days ago here. I think one of the big things that people are looking at is in this environment. I mean, I'm a former Republican, was for 30 years. As you look at the current iteration, it seems like a lot of people are saying, well, you are going, or someone, whoever wins this Republican primary is going to have President Trump's endorsement. Do you feel that? Do you need President Trump's endorsement to win this race?
President Trump's certainly important. It is his party. I mean, he's been around for a decade now and changed everything in dynamics in politics in all of America. But I think this primary in particular is going to come down to one thing and one thing only. In my lifetime, Republicans have only ever elected 2 governors, Tommy Thompson and Scott Walker. Both were young, energetic guys in under 45. One was a county executive, son of a minister. And so we've got a template that we know works on our side. And that's what I expect to work this time. But at the bottom line is we haven't had a candidate in a long time on our side that really burns the shoe leather, runs into media at county fairs, state fairs, and I think that's what we need. Meet people where they're at, have conversations with one another again, stop talking past each other. There's been way too much of that, and so that's what I like to see change in this campaign.
Whatever Governor Tony Evers decides, whether to run for a 3rd term or whether to step back, and then there will be a very crowded Democratic primary. That's plain to see.
Sure.
You will have things to say about the Evers administration and or the Democratic field as it comes up. But since we only have limited time here, I want to do, and I heard this a lot running all the time as well. They're like, well, just tell us what you're going to do for me. So I want to give you that opportunity. If you are elected, what is it that you want to do?
Yeah, the big thing that I'm focused on is making Wisconsin a place that people are proud to be, not just be from. And what I mean by that is we've talked about brain drain in the state for feels like a quarter century, most of my life. Young people leaving the state for other opportunities, never coming back. And now you're starting to see retirees leaving. My mom and dad are residents of Wisconsin, but they have a place down in the Fort Myers area. And I went down and visited this spring, and like always, all the people from Wisconsin gather, and they have the brat fry and the whole 9 yards. And they're all residents of Florida for 6 months and 1 day or more. They love the sunshine and the 0 income tax. And I think both of those things we have to work to change. If you look at the demography of the state in the next 25 years, it's kind of scary. So we've got to retain, and I think that's going to be my number one focus.
Can I go to the other end of the age spectrum, though? Retaining our best and brightest, our young people, so that they don't leave.
That's right.
What can you tell them?
So my big thing with that is I think the big hurdle for them coming back is where are they going to live? Right? Housing in Washington County, the average price of a home is about $400,000. It's demonstrably worse in Dane County, for example. But that is a similar average across the state. I don't know how young people even can think about affording a house right now. So I think that's a big issue we've got to tackle. We have a track record in Washington County, and I think we can take it to Madison.
State budget passed last week. Governor Evers signed it into law. There are people on the right who are saying that Tony Evers whipped the Republicans. There are people on the left saying they got a raw deal out of it. Where do you stand? Was this a good budget? And it's something you could support, or do you think it should have been better?
Yeah, it's not a good budget. I don't think anybody's happy. I heard Greta Neubauer criticizing it, saying she didn't even have a seat at the table. I think that's wildly inappropriate. The fact that legislative leadership and the governor weren't even talking to each other until, 3-4 weeks before the budget needed to be adopted, with essentially a fiscal gun to your head with the federal money going away. So, that's something when I'm governor, I wanted to reach out to Greta and say, listen, we might not agree on much, but you're going to have a seat at the table. Like, we have to be talking to each other. I think it's one of the big things that's wrong in America is we just talk past one another. We don't even have conversations anymore. So it's good to have conversations, and I think that's something that's got to change. We need leadership.
Anything, we have about a minute left or so.
Sure.
Anything we haven't asked you, and I'd love to have you come back on. Thanks for doing this. What have we not asked you that you think people of this state need to hear of why you want to be governor?
I think the big thing that I've been hearing is the education governor, Governor Evers, prides himself on being an education governor, and they are the declining enrollments, really statewide on average, that's a problem. The way that the funding formula works and has not worked for over 30 years is a problem. and we just keep throwing money. We're not looking at outcomes. We're not looking at what's best for kids. We're just looking at how do we fund. I think we around a table, even if we disagree, and work together to solve. That's what I'm going to do when I'm governor. It's what I've done as county executive in Washington County.
Washington County Executive and now Republican gubernatorial candidate Josh Shumlin, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. Look forward to future conversations with Pat and I moving forward.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah,
Our
thank you.
pleasure.
Enjoy the
Visit
fair.
joshshulman.com. More information.
Nice to have you up here in Chippewa.
Thank you.
Come on back. We're going to talk a little BJ Hollers and filmmaking and Coob after this. Don't go anywhere. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show with Pat Kreitlow, live on location from Chippewa Falls at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX. As Wisconsin is dropping a line in your favorite fishing spot, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
You know that 85% of rural fire departments in Wisconsin operate entirely with volunteers.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Looks like Todd is still getting things set up between segments here.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Great, thank you. How about you guys?
Good. Thanks for having us. This is Steve, Todd, and Pat.
Steve, a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to turn Pat's mic on now. He's. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Sound good. Yeah.
All right.
Just so you know, we go back live on the radio in about 4 minutes, but we are still streaming on social media.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, hello there. How's it going? We're in our long break.
Do either of you have
How you
any
doing?
song requests? Anything? I don't know if there are a whole lot of songs about Coob, but
Not yet. We are the champions. We're the champions. Do what you want.
Yes.
How's Chippewa?
Absolutely fantastic. So I'm just getting my camera set up here. We're having a great time, and we just had we started off the show with a live chicken. That's always fun, and we had Josh Shumlin, who's running for governor, stop by, and now you guys. And then we got Samansky to end the show. We got Mike McCabe with WCFW, and we're gonna do a little fair food segment. So.
Nice.
But we've never had a follow-up chicken before, so this is pretty exciting for us.
we had the politician follow the kid and the animal, so you know,
As it should be.
Yeah, he got stuck with that slot. Never follow kids or animals. He had to follow both.
Right.
Well, we had the live chicken, everybody.
All right, there we go. All right, there we go. That looks a little better. All right, so we'll start out just by asking you guys just a little bit. BJ has been on the show before, but just ask you a little bit about yourselves and just a little bit about the documentary, the subject, how it came up, and as BJ knows, I'm pretty laid back and formal. So is Pat. We just like to have good conversations, so we don't have a big list of specific questions. Just a free flow of dialogue and have some fun.
Sounds great. Thank you.
And we'll go to, my pleasure. We'll go to 10 till.
I tried to be cool like Todd, but I could not pull off the hat for that long. It was just
You know what the
too
difference
much.
is? You know what the difference is? Because Pat has a full head of natural news anchor hair, and I am balding severely. So that's the difference.
Yeah. It was getting hot up there, man.
Yes. I have to use this to stay warm.
I get it.
sure what that is. Who's singing?
Don't know.
That'll be going to the beer tent. Yes, the chicken singing.
Singing to the chicken. Yeah.
All right, we'll be on the
All right,
radio
here we
in
go.
30 seconds.
Yep.
Look, we're in the patriotic version of It's a Small World.
That's it.
Welcome back to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair, live in Quaw Falls, Wisconsin. Todd Allbaugh on the Civic Media Radio Network, along with my guest co-host for the day for the last 2 days here. So kind, so gracious. He usually gets up, or he always gets up way early. Better always get up. He's at 6 until 9 a.m. mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Mr. Kreitlow is here at the table. That song is going to be playing, Pat, at some point during the weekend for the U.S. National Coupe Championship in Eau Claire, just down the road from here. But what a show so far. We started off with a live chicken, followed by a politician. What's the rule? You never let to follow kids or animals, and Showman followed. God love him, he did it.
But if you're going to, it may as well be followed up then by champions.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Joining us via StreamYard just down the road because they are busy indeed. They are from Fireside Productions. BJ Hollers, who has been on the show before, talking about the great documentary When Rubber Hit the Road. If Todd could talk there. It was world premiere here at the Pablo Center. We were up here for that. And his production partner at Fireside, Steve Dayton, joined us via StreamYard. BJ and Steve, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
It's really, really great. Number one, again, if people haven't seen When Rubber Hit the Road, it's a great documentary on the closing of the Uniroyal Tire facility here in Eau Claire. Just really quickly, have you guys had more follow-up on that? Is the DVD out still, or what's the status on that great piece?
Yeah, it's all going great. PBS Wisconsin is screening it and streaming it regularly, so you can check it out on PBS Wisconsin any second of your day. It's also on Amazon, and you can pick up the DVD at our website, firesideproductions.com.
Wow, that's great. If people haven't seen it, I would really encourage it. It's just a great film, number one. But what a story, Pat, you and I talked about this before, of just the resilience of this community up here in Chippewa Falls.
Right, and I'm absolutely certain that resilience comes through in this as well. And I noticed that you got a lot of gratitude for putting this together, because it's a part of Eau Claire history that I think people feared was starting to be forgotten. And you know what it's like to have to go back and try to tell a tale when there's nobody left to tell it who actually lived it. And so you've taken advantage of this opportunity, and it's going to be a permanent part of the culture here.
As you guys travel around that, have you heard similar comments? Just, hey, thanks for preserving this history?
Yeah, it was a mixture of both of thanks for preserving this history, and then around the Wisconsin of, maybe I didn't know this story as well, but I also lived this story in some way. So we kind of kept running into those comments.
Well, you're on to new projects as these things go in the art world. Tell us about this latest project, what you guys are doing this weekend, and in conjunction with the Coupe Championships.
It's a very exciting time in Eau Claire. Of course, Eau Claire is the North American capital of Coupe. If you're familiar, Coupe is a game born in kind of Sweden and these kind of places, and it's come to America in part thanks to Eric Anderson, an Eau Claire native. And so all this weekend, we will be filming the U.S. National Coupe Championship at the soccer parks here in Eau Claire to try to figure out who will be crowned king. Our documentary will be called Kings of Coupe, and basically we spent the last year following 4 or so teams and a few other folks along the way to kind of figure out about this culture and the people and also the competitive spirit of it all.
I think this is fantastic. We had we had Eric on the show yesterday talking about this, and I didn't know anything about it until you guys know my sister and brother-in-law. They got me playing it up here in Eau Claire, and I think it's great. There may be other people that might not be into it as much, but I mean, what makes this a great story?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Coupe is we have all played it in the backyard, and then to go to Eau Claire Coupe League and go to the championship and just see how much people are invested in this. It's a lot of their entire lives. This is their friend group. This is their family. This is what they do on weekends. They travel many miles to do this. This is who they are. So it's ingrained into the people that play it.
And it's the people who heard the interview with Eric yesterday when he talked about the king as one of the pieces, in Coupe. Yeah. Where those are the ones going, oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah, see, you get it. You get it.
Yeah. See, we listen.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The shows I'm on, I listen to you.
I have to pay him extra, in beer. But
sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on. I think, again, for some people that might not be from the Chippewa Valley, they might not know what Coupe is, but I think we've all had those quirky passions, if I could call Coupe a sort of a quirk, whether it's people who are into chess. I mean, these people are obsessed with chess and will travel all over. Or, there might be fishing. For some people, fishing championships is like, what's that? But is the through line of a filmmaker for you guys, is it just this unique where this human instinct, a drive and passion, no matter what the subject is?
For me, it absolutely is. We're trying to kind of be these flies on the wall for this kind of microculture that people may know something about, but even if you don't know what Coupe is, even if you've never thrown a baton at all, you know what it means to be passionate, to be all in, to be a competitor, to want to win, to want to be the best you can be at something. And what's so cool about Coupe, and all these folks who play tell us this is their chance to be the best in the country at something. And they can be 50 years old. They can have just started 3 years ago. We say, don't have to be in the best shape of our lives. But if you can do this one thing, if you can play this sport, and it's not a game, it is a sport, you should ask them. You can be the best in the world, or at least the best in the nation. And it's pretty exciting to watch these folks practice and train all year round for the opportunity to compete this weekend.
Is part of the part of the attraction, it's obscurity in that it's a niche sport. Not a lot of people play it, and so you almost feel like one of the cool kids who gets to be in this thing that not everybody knows about.
I mean, I think yes. And what's so cool is this community is very tight knit, and so it's weird because last night we went to 2 Coupe parties and all the competitors there making pizza, having a great time, kind of throwing batons together. But in 24 hours from now, it's going to be a whole different ballgame, And these folks who are good friends all year round are going to be staunch competitors against one another. They always say there's only one reason we're doing this, and that's to win, And so it's really cool to kind of see the bravado that can come out. It's tricky to be friends, but also competitors. And yet, there's no referee. They're kind of like doing this on their own. And so there's a lot of gentleman's sport talk about the whole thing. And it's really cool to see kind of passions on display, but also the honesty of just doing what's right for the game and for themselves.
We're talking with BJ Hollers and Steve Dayton from Fireside Productions, filmmakers who have done great productions like When Rubber Hit the Road here and other works as well. They're working on their latest documentary on the Coupe Championships taking place in Eau Claire this weekend. Guys, maybe this is a premature question. Maybe you don't know the answer to this yet. I'm going to ask it anyway. So we've been very fortunate at this show to kind of become friends with filmmakers Kelly Call and Sean Hanish, who did the documentary on the Brewers just a bit outside the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, who have been on this show a number of times. And one of the things that Kelly and Sean have told us is it's not really a film, a documentary about sports. It's really about a love story between a community and a team, a community who was going through a recession at the time in the early 80s, and they needed something to believe in, and this team of kind of misfits needed a city to uplift them. What's the backstory, or if you know it, what's so far, what's this documentary? It's not maybe just about Coupe, but what's the real story here?
I would say that the story is about community. It's about people connecting. It's not the throwing the batons, but waiting to throw and those conversations that you have. Or in Eric Anderson's case, raising 2 daughters and him being a big part of Coupe and them finding love in it too, and those connections there. So it's more about relationships than anything else.
Very much human interest, yeah.
Let's get past the happy stuff here. This is a sport. Like any sport, there's going to be the heels. There's going to be who's the New York Yankees out of all this.
I like that.
Have we gotten to the point where there is a team that is just almost unbeatable to the point that people almost either dread outplaying them, or they want the challenge to knock them off? And if that's the case, do they get really full of themselves? Are they humble champions? Let's get all the dirt on this right now.
Oh, man.
This is where you
Well,
get to share it all.
This is where you get us in trouble.
I'm going to get in big trouble. Well, I think most would say the greatest of all time, the GOAT, is a guy who teaches in Chippewa. He's an Eau Claire guy named Greg Jockinson. And this guy has his name on the Staff Trophy again and again and again. He's won multiple national championships, won world championships as well. I mean, he's incredible. And I think other teams fear him, and I think he likes that. I think he likes the mystique. And so he's been really generous with us and kind of shown us his full self. But when he's on the pitch, I mean, he's there to win. And I think everyone knows it, and he doesn't miss a lot. And it's just, when you watch people at that level play this sport, I mean, when we play in the backyard, we hit a couple, we miss a couple. They don't miss. It is incredible, the level they are thinking about everything they do. They call the game Viking chess, and it's because it's strategic in so many ways, So watching him play and his whole team, Wrecking Crew, they have one of their team members coming from Belgium. They're quite the team, and one to be feared this weekend.
Oh, that's
called
good.
the Wrecking Crew?
Yeah.
See, that's
great.
perfect. That's appropriate.
There it is.
Is it still what you'd call, a street clothes type event, or are some people starting to,
That's good, yeah.
Yeah,
Uniforms?
jazz it up, uniforms.
Yeah.
Is there any bling involved in this?
Pat wants the bling. He wants the merch.
Yeah.
You are going to get
Cape.
so
Is
much
there a
bling.
cape at any point?
So we're also following a team called the Coob Reapers, and they may be the best dressed team out there. They have multiple
Coob Reapers, all right.
Coob Reapers, multiple jerseys. They have cups. They have
Hats, towels, stickers, postcards, you name it.
Marketing.
There.
Wow.
They have their own. They have their own wrapping paper.
They're
pretty good too.
I like that.
Yes.
A couple minutes left here, guys. I want to ask you a filmmaking question, because in this new state budget that just passed, in a bipartisan manner on this part, they just reinstituted, it was there years and years ago under former Governor Tommy Thompson, there's a new film office with some tax credits. As filmmakers, does this mean anything? Is this actually something that would help you guys make films, or is this just all political fluff?
Well, I think we're optimistic. Nathan Deming's the guy here in town who's really helped lead the charge. Probably the level we're producing films at, it probably won't have a huge impact right away, but certainly the idea of drawing new industry, new filmmakers to Wisconsin would be enormous. My brother's a filmmaker out in Denver, and they have some tax credits, and that's why he's there, and that's how they do film these movies there. Same with Atlanta, same with all the hubs. So if Wisconsin can get in on that, it has great opportunities for other larger productions, maybe beyond what we're doing right now, but maybe one day we'll get there too.
And it does bring other filmmakers outside of Wisconsin here and have them take a look. Minnesota has had good luck with their film program, their film office. So I think this is a really exciting time for us.
I think it's only a rumor, but James Cameron has been
Really?
around doing a sequel to Titanic.
Right here.
On Lake Wissota.
On Lake Wissota.
First movie. All because of that credit.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes.
No, but to you guys' point, I would think whatever the vocation is, wherever you could get together with other people in your business, so to speak, there's some synergy there, and I would think that's good for both commerce in Wisconsin, but also for the art.
No question.
Yeah, there's definitely a story about there's a movie called 100 Beavers, and they're looking at making their next. Yes, they're looking at making their next feature, and with incentives that might be something that can get them to stay in Wisconsin and do that right here. So little things like that are big wins.
Did we have someone on talking about Hundreds of Beavers before?
We did on my show.
Yes.
And
I love that movie.
I think that's absolute Hundreds of Beavers. What a name, and what a great movie.
It was.
I mean, it's anyway. So I think it's great for film. A minute left here or so. Is there anything we have not asked you about this documentary on Coob that you'd like people to know?
Well, what I would say first and foremost is if you're unfamiliar with Coob, if you just want to check it out, this is the time. So starting tomorrow, 8 a.m., come out to the soccer park on Hamilton Road in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, or tomorrow or on Sunday to watch the final cage match. You're going to have a great time.
All right, very good. I believe Jerry Mathers is going to star in the sequel to Hundreds of Beavers.
Just a rumor.
Just a rumor. All right, very good. BJ Hollers and Steve Dayton of Fireside Productions, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you, and we'll be following you every step of the way. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Come on back. Pat and I are going to talk Northern Wisconsin State Fair. After this, we're live on location in Chippewa Falls on the Civic Media Radio Network. That was amazing, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Hi. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, Todd. Nice to meet you. So what time you want to
3:30 or something?
I got either do it now or I can do it at 3:20.
3:20 is fine with me. I just
All right.
got here. I was going to wander around
All right,
a
yeah.
little bit, see what's going on.
All right, sweet, awesome. Yeah.
Knock your socks off.
All right, yeah. Come back at 3:20. We'll be all set to go.
Yeah, this was Aaron's idea, not mine.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, no
Thanks.
problem.
All right, thank you.
I'll be back. Alrighty.
Hey, James Kelly, how are you?
Good to see you.
Oh, here you
Back
are.
good to see you in person.
You want to pop on? Yeah, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a surprise appearance. You never know who's going to stop by. Our very own James Kelly of James Kelly News.
I love that you keep saying that and that no one said anything.
because it's supposed to be CBS News up here on the tap, and it's great, it's fantastic. But the entire news block is James. So at the end of the show, I always say, coming up at 4 o'clock, it's either CBS, ABC, or James Kelly News, followed by a check of the weather. I enjoy it.
So
Yeah.
we put all that together and get into a commercial, get on here soon. Arthur, my friend, I think we just did.
Yeah, I'll just slide over just a little bit. I got there we go.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. Ever since I started the recombobulation area, I've written an in-depth breakdown of every new edition of the Marquette University Law School poll. The newest poll asks about a range of topics: whether Tony Evers should run for a third term, where people stand on Donald Trump's economic policies, and
Where is that coming from?
relating to the state budget. The poll paints a picture of a
The music?
polarized Wisconsin. Many people are very dug in.
There's like there's some sort of like weird pre-recorded choir behind us.
Divided state in the nation. But there are a number of issues polled that do have the support of more than 2/3 of Wisconsin voters. Those include
What do you call the patriotic small world?
30 seconds.
making major
Here we go.
You guys are supposed to eat those up. Eat them up.
It's tough to eat and talk at the same time.
Yes. Only Trigby gets to do that.
Yes. Welcome back to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. We are live on location across the Civic Media Radio Network. Todd Allbaugh, along with our co-host, our friend, our colleague, Pat Kreitlow of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, from every morning from 6 until 9 across most of the stations here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Coming up at the top of the hour at 3 o'clock, it'll be CBS, ABC, or James Kelly News, depending upon which station you're listening to, followed by a check of weather. And then Mike Clemens with sports, and then we'll come back with hour number 2. What?
You said the James Kelly News?
The James Kelly News. That's what here we get here at the tap on every day, and it's fantastic. And speaking of, you never know who's going to stop by the table at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. None other
in the flesh.
than our own James Kelly.
Well, to be fair, I was scheduled to be here.
Oh.
As is so standard. I didn't know this, but this is fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
We appreciate this entirely voluntary appearance you're making here for us, and not a hostage situation in the least.
No.
How you doing, James?
I'm doing great. I'm really enjoying some Brewers baseball. That song just made me think of Bull Durham and Jacob Mizurowski. Oh, boy.
Now, for those who haven't listened before, the last time the three of us were together was at Pat's home, beautiful Lake Wissota. We did the show up there. For those who don't know, James is a New Yorker from Long Island, a big Yankees fan. And I'm not being goofy. I haven't checked. How are the Yankees doing?
Oh, they're going through a bit of a rough patch right now.
But the Brewers, they're on fire.
Yeah, the Brewers, they're looking like they might end up winning the NL Central after all.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We got half a season to go yet.
Are they 2 games back now? That's
a
not
game
bad.
and a half. Let's just enjoy the ride. You know.
Well, it's great to see. Have you been? Were you here last year?
I was. Yeah.
All right, because you've been here over 2 years now.
Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years in August.
That's incredible. So, what's your favorite part of the Northern Wisconsin State Fair as a person who grew up in New York?
Well, it's for me out here, it's who you run into. Obviously, you find a governor candidate here, and last year when I was here, I ran into then Senate candidate Eric Hovde and got to ask him a couple questions.
Really?
Yeah, just luck of the draw. You see people that you wouldn't normally see out and about out here.
That's fantastic. Eddie, what's your favorite fair food, James Kelly?
Ooh, my favorite fair food. That's a tough one. We have Zeppelis back home for their
Oh, I'm sorry.
Zeppelis.
What Zeppelis?
They're kind of like cannolis.
Oh, real? I love a good cannoli.
Yeah. But
That's
those are great. Those are a fair classic.
When we get done here, Pat brought in some beautiful chocolate chip.
Bucket of cookies. It's no cannoli, but
we have cookies for you.
Yeah.
You're really underwhelmed by that one. All right.
We work with what we got.
What else you got, Todd?
So you got to we had Josh Showman here on this show. It was very kind of him to stop by. More than Governor Evers is willing to do in our show. He goes and talks to Pat, but he won't come on our show. We put it in writing. We said, Governor, we'd love to have you come on. Not a word back.
Well, maybe he'll announce a third-term run on your show.
Or maybe he'll announce he's not running again on our show.
He'll say if he's doing that, he's doing it on Dan. Actually, it should be the other way around. If he announces he's running again, he's going to want Dan Schaefer right there.
100%.
Yes, and say something like, "I'm running for a third term." In your face, Schaefer.
Of course, our own Dan Schaefer, political editor, has written a column saying the governor should not run again. James, you're following the news all the time. You're following, and one of the great things about civic media, we're local, community-oriented. Give us the what's the thing that people are talking most about right now in the Chippewa Valley in terms of the local news up here?
Well, this week it really seems like road work. I'm getting a lot of updates on projects that are coming up, especially in Dunn County. There's going to be a lot of closures, and you got the Blatnick Bridge reconstruction project ready to get underway up in Superior, so that's going to cause some lane closures as well in the next couple of weeks. So it's a lot of road work right now. Other than that, we have emerald ash borer still spreading through the northwest Wisconsin region, and the city of Spooner's looking at some preventative treatment options. So could be something interesting to watch if it works, if it's affordable.
James comes on our show every Wednesday at 7 or 8:50. To talk about some of the stories he's following, and one of them this week is the new container park. In Altoona, with old shipping containers being turned into.
Well, that's cool.
What are they going to be turned into? Is it like
they're just kind of like vendor spaces, restaurants, kind of like stationary food trucks, sort of.
Really?
For somebody of my age who grew up reading the Boxcar Children, this is like whoever thought we'd be turning boxcars into the urban development of the future.
Well, it's another cool thing about the Chippewa Valley. Industrious, unique things, creative, that happen. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the other big topic around here, the Coob Championships.
Yes, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, I will say last year when they had the Coob Championships, I did a little story about it for the radio. Happened to run into State Representative Jody Emerson at a press conference later that day. Who this isn't a game that we really have a lot of in New York. I found it in one place, Bryant Park in the city, and it was a ton of fun. But we called it Cub. That's just how we pronounce it.
In your Eastern accent, I suppose.
Yeah, so I called it Cub on the newscast, and
a lot of angry letters.
Yeah, a little pause before the press conference, like, by the way, it's Coob. And I was like, oh man, I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
She didn't chuck a baton at you as she said that.
No. I mean, it was a friendly reminder. She knew I was still new around here.
Yeah. Oh, she'd throw it at me. I mean, again, we're friends.
Right.
That's what friends do.
As one does.
Chuck
Absolutely.
wood at each other.
Well, this is fantastic. I appreciate the news about the road work because I was driving from here back to Eau Claire last night. I thought the pavement had buckled because what road were we on?
There actually was I-94 pavement buckling northwest of Osseo. Yeah.
Oh. We were on the bypass or something like that. Yeah.
So that road work should have wrapped up this morning-ish.
Oh, there you go. That's good news for us going.
We get a lot of that around here. You eat a bucket of cookies and suddenly you just go like buckling. Things expand. The roads are kind of the same way around here.
The belt's pavement buckling.
Yeah, right? Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, always appreciate you. People can find you here at the Tap and WCFW. You keep people up to date. We appreciate that. Thank you once again for all the hard work, and thanks for stopping by. We always appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I'll be here all evening.
Really? So people could come and meet you. Do you ever get, like, when people meet me and they say, oh, you look different in person?
No, I usually get now I can put a face to the name. Oh, that's interesting.
Really? Oh, you see? tall, handsome dude like that. That's what he hears. What do we hear? Oh,
But you were on television, Pat. People knew what you looked like.
yeah, but they also thought you're on TV. You must be 6'5",
right.
and make a Tom Brokaw level salary.
Everyone looks taller on TV.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, James Kelly, our fantastic news person here in northwestern Wisconsin. Thank you, James. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to do some What's Worse. Also, talking to Ken Szymanski and food with Pat Kreitlow and Todd. Don't go anywhere. It's the Northern Wisconsin State Fair from Chippewa Falls, live on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great conversation. A Civic Media station.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump and the First Lady are surveying the damage in Texas today, 1 week after flash floods claimed the lives of at least 121 people. More than 160 others are still missing. Layoff notices have gone out from the State Department informing nearly 1,100 civil service workers and 240 foreign service officers that they're fired. It follows a Supreme Court ruling allowing the Trump administration to move forward with the president's executive order for mass federal layoffs and restructuring of federal agencies. Here's ABC's Chris Boccia.
The Secretary of State said yesterday that it's bloat, and a senior State Department official said there are simply too many people, and that we need to align the State Department with some of the priorities of this administration, and that there are some folks at the department, in their view, who are not doing work that is necessarily aligned with diplomatic priorities.
Stocks are down in afternoon trading. This is ABC News.
Download the Civic Media app in the Google Play or Apple App Store and take us everywhere. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Make sure you've got the umbrella handy today. We've got rain in our forecast, not a washout by any means. Parts of the Madison area may get about an inch. Other areas will see less than that, but don't expect a ton of sunshine throughout the day today. And officers from all over the state are in Waukesha County today honoring Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder. He and his partner were shot in the city 2 weekends ago while responding to a shots fired call. A 22-year-old man is now charged with homicide in the crime. Flags are flying at half staff today for Corder across Wisconsin. They'll stay at half staff through the weekend. In another title for a former Wisconsin congressman, Sean Duffy is currently the federal Secretary of Transportation. Now, President Donald Trump has named him the administrator of NASA. The president had originally nominated billionaire tech exec Jared Isaacson, but changed his mind and withdrew his nomination. This is expected to be temporary. Duffy started his career as a cast member on MTV's The Real World. He was elected to Congress in Wisconsin's 7th District in 2010. Meanwhile, another win for the coalition of states pushing back against the Trump administration in court, and that includes Wisconsin. Attorney General Josh Kaul has announced a judge blocked the Trump administration from withholding federal funding for roads and highways from states that do not assist in federal immigration efforts. The Trump administration had sent out a directive to states saying if you want your transportation money, you have to fully cooperate with ICE and Department of Homeland Security authorities. The preliminary injunction was granted by a judge from the U.S. District Court for the District of Rhode Island. Kaul said transportation funding should be used to improve transportation in Wisconsin and in states across the country, not leveraged to try to steamroll states into furthering a separate policy goal of the Trump administration. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
The Bucks introduce Miles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports basketball at the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. The Bucks beat the Denver Nuggets last night, 90-89. The Bucks holding a press conference to officially introduce their new center. Miles Turner picked up in free agency from the Pacers. GM John Horst, head coach Doc Rivers, taking questions for the first time since revamping the roster, waiving Damian Lillard and Brook Lopez moving to the Clippers. Bobby Portis, who's been re-signed, was asked what would he tell Turner about joining the Bucks organization.
Finally finding a home in Milwaukee where it's comfortable, winning culture, winning team. We're always in the playoffs, always have a chance to win a championship, playing with great players, have a chance to, build a legacy. All those things kind of just hit home for me.
Baseball, Brewers tonight against the Nationals.
Oh,
in
geez,
Milwaukee.
Zommers, are you there?
Against Washington left-hander Mitchell Parker.
Can you put in, I don't know, you want to just say it or you want to, we didn't do the ticket giveaway thing.
Oh, crud.
We need the I need the word, please. You want to text it to me, or you just want to say it? I don't care which.
Just a second, I'm finding it.
Thank you.
I'll put it in the chat so that I can also give you the game information.
Which chat? Here?
The Google one, if that's okay?
What?
Would you rather I put it in Google or StreamYard?
I don't care, whichever you want to do.
All right, I'm putting it in Google because I already started typing there.
All right. In the show, in the Todd Allbaugh show chat?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right, got it?
Yep, thank you.
And I'll get the music ready.
Yep, thank you.
As the wealthiest among us dine at the feast of all feasts, don't be fooled by the table scraps.
The award-winning Maggie Dawn Show at its new time, weekdays 4 till 6 p.m. Maggie Dawn.
20 seconds.
Thank you.
On location, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh here, live on location for the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in the Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. It is Friday, TGIF, the 11th of July, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite, along with our guest co-host, our friend, our colleague, the host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow every morning from 6 until 9 across most of these stations. The one, the only Pat Kreitlow.
But let's be honest.
Yes,
I'm just a 2-day stand for you. I mean, I am just the beginning of Todd's excellent adventure on the road across Wisconsin, along with Jane and Greg. I will be replaced by Jane. It takes two of them to replace me.
You're no Herky the Hawkeye. I'll put it that way. So.
That's inside.
That's inside baseball right there.
That's what Herky said.
But yes, this is. This is the first of our big weeks on the road, Pat, yes. And I appreciate you being here for 2 days and helping us kick that off. You're right, next week, Jane Matinair and Greg Bacham Matinair on air, and I are going to go from Oshkosh to Butternut to Hayward Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
I just imagine the three of you on like the Partridge Family bus.
Right.
Come on, get that beat.
That's what it meant. Trust me, that may be our mode of transportation.
I've told our audience in the mornings you're gonna want to stick around not just to hear what's happening in these places where they go, but the stories of how they get there.
Exactly. Now look at that. Hang on here.
How are you able to hold on to that with one hand? That is 25 pounds of funnel cake, it looks like.
Now look here. Our on-site producer, the lovely and talented Heather Allbaugh-Gloy, yes, my sister, has gone out and brought Pat and I some fair food. Heather, what have you got for us? Hold it close.
We've got a funnel cake for you, like fresh funnel cake.
It's hot.
Poured in. It's going to burn your hand.
Yeah.
And your mouth.
Really?
Don't burn your face off.
I'll try not to. Thank you.
How about over here, away from all the expensive
right
electronic
next to
equipment?
Yeah, all right.
In front of me. Sure.
One of the great things about the fair, though, funnel cake, right?
It is one of my favorites. It is.
Me too. Pat, are you a funnel cake fan?
I don't get it very often, and I'm looking at all the powdered sugar on there, realizing I may not. Todd, we're talking about two other things here.
Yes,
but I mean, it's basically it's one very long mini donut that's
It is.
just wrapped around and around and around, and sugar and oil and dough. What else do you need? Well, I mean cheese, but other than that,
It's part of the fair.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. Heather, again, all seriousness, thank you for you and Mike and for helping out because we could not have done this last 2 days without you guys, so thank you.
Mopping up my spilled lemonade.
Right, yesterday.
And just the roadie.
Yes.
You're more than
a
that.
very good one.
We appreciate that. All right, thank you very much, Heather. We appreciate you. Maybe we'll check back in with her a little bit later. Pat, we've had such a busy show here. We have more coming up here in just a bit. Our colleague Mike McKay from our sister station up here at WCFW 105.7 FM is going to be along talking about what happens musically here in the Chippewa Valley. And we're also going to talk with Ken Szymanski, great author, is going to be here with a new book, talking to him. Pat, we forgot about, I know you did it this morning on your show, Free Ticket Friday.
I didn't think you forgot. I thought you were just building up the anticipation.
He's trying to cover my
said
missteps.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, time once again for Free Ticket Friday giveaway. Let's go.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
That's right. It's time for Free Ticket Friday giveaway. Your chance to win 4 beautiful tickets to the Milwaukee Brewers game in our beautiful club level seats. It's not just their basic seat. Pat and I have been there before.
Oh, yes.
They're beautiful seats, Pat.
They're wonderful seats. In fact, I recently secured tickets to a game in the not too distant future.
Oh, very good.
I will be attending, and you're going to want to be in these seats.
It's the club level. If it's a hot day, don't worry. There's a air-conditioned concourse right behind you. Bathrooms just for that club level. They're beautiful seats. And this is for a game this coming Sunday, July 13th, against the Washington Nationals at 2:10 p.m. That's the catch. You must be able to go to this game on Sunday at 2:10 p.m. You cannot exchange it for another game. So that's the key to that. So if we're ready, Mr. Zommers, here's what you do. You download the Civic Media app, folks. If you don't have it on your Apple or Android device, open it up. First 11 stations are the ones that we're on. Choose the one closest to you. Click on it. On the lower right-hand side, it'll say text. Click on that. And now we're going to give you the word of the hour. Text the following word on the Civic Media app to be eligible. The word is pitch. P-I-T-C-H. The word is pitch.
Really, they gave you that word?
Yes.
For you? So easily confused.
C-H.
Pitch with a P as in pitch.
P as in Paul.
Okay.
I-T-C-H. That is the word. As a matter of fact, text the word pitch right now, and at the end of this hour, the computer will randomly choose someone, and you will win 4 tickets for this Sunday's game, July 13th, against the Nationals at AmFam Field in Milwaukee at 2:10. How about that?
Can you do anything before the robot overlords pick one? Can you help your odds at all? Can you put like an emoji after the word pitch?
No, don't do that because the computer. Do not do because it will. You'll have no chance at all.
Can you attach a dollar bill or anything like that?
Nothing.
No.
You have to spell it correctly because if it were up to Pat and I, we'd say, "Well, that's cute, that's interesting," and we choose you. But we are not in charge.
By
the
letting
computer
the robots do it, it's completely random.
Yes,
no
it's
favoritism.
Completely random.
Just the word.
And so P-I-T-C-H. Text the word pitch right now on the Civic Media app to be eligible for those free Ticket Friday giveaways, Pat. So how about that?
What? It's a statewide contest.
Thank you. The attorneys on the 12th floor will come down on me if I don't. Even on the road, they're listening. So, yes, thank you, Zommers. It is a statewide contest, and Pat and I are statewide here, up here in northern Wisconsin, talking about the Northern Wisconsin State Fair.
Yes.
It's been great so far, right?
It's been awesome. Yes. I mean, come on. You brought a live animal to the start of this show.
That's right.
A barbershop quartet yesterday. Mm-hmm. We have to kick you out of here. We don't know what you do next. We can't fit a marching band in here, but you could pull it off if you wanted to do it.
There's dancers coming up in hour 3. Oh, wait a minute. We don't have an hour 3.
That's right. It's still just me.
That's right, as it turns out. All right, so text the word pitch, P-I-T-C-H, to the Civic Media app. All right, we have that business out of the way. We're going to do 2 things simultaneously because Todd forgot in hour 1 about the tickets. But it is now 11, make it 13 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Here we go.
Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get
Time once again for what's worse. No prize money involved here. Nothing to give away on this part of it.
This funnel cake?
We could give away a funnel cake. But it is your chance to be heard across all 11 news talk sports stations in the civic media world. No better place to advertise than the Civic Media Network. Go to civicmedia.us to find out how you can be a partner, and we would love to have you. All right, this category today, Pat, timely indeed. There's a little overcast, but it's hot up here, but not overly hot. That time of year, if you're going to be out on Lake Wissota, you want to make sure that you have your sunscreen on. But in the winter, Lake Wissota, it can get very nippy. So today's category, what's worse, sunburn or frostbite? Sunburn or frostbite. Give us a call, 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. You can also text us a response on the old Civic Media app as well if you'd like to do that. Pat, sunburn or frostbite?
The thing about Lake Wissota is you could get both if you're ice fishing on a particularly sunny but cold day.
Right?
It could happen.
People don't
Actually,
think about that.
I don't know if that could happen. I should ask Dr. Kreitlow when she gets back in here. But
yes, his lovely, intelligent wife.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
No, I think that's true because people in winter, I've known people that gone downhill skiing in particular, higher like out west, and they come back sunburned. You're just in the middle of the winter, and it's because they don't take care of their skin in the winter.
Yeah, I mean, and I accidentally gave myself a severe sunburn a couple of years back.
In the winter?
No, not in the winter. But even with that, I would still say frostbite's worse for me.
All right, so Pat is saying that.
But I'm also fearing the unknown. I've never had frostbite, so it just strikes me as something. It strikes me as something out of what was that Jack London book, To Build a Fire?
Very good. Absolutely.
I don't want to freeze to death just for the purposes of having a good book.
No, you don't want that. We have an author coming up with a good book in a bit, so we'll talk
Jack
about that.
London's here?
Yes, Jack London, that's right. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Let's go to Cam, listening in Appleton. Cam, thanks for calling in on a Friday. Sunburn or frostbite, what's worse?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I would say frostbite, and my reason is that I watched a show a long time ago called Love, Death, Robots, and in one of the scenes there's an astronaut that gets stuck out in the middle of space, and she doesn't have anything to push her back to her ship, so she breaks open her suit and it exposes her arm to get it all frostbitten and frozen, and then breaks it off so she can throw it so she can get back to the ship. And ever since then, it spooked me.
Cam, what are you watching the weekend?
I was going to say, what's worse?
Love,
Sunburn,
Death, and Robots is a
frostbite,
very morbid show.
or what Cam's watching?
Cam, take care. But I appreciate the in-depth research there. Thank you, Cam, very much. What's worse, sunbite or sunbite? Sunburn or frostbite? 855.
Sorry, I got that visual just stuck. It's like a big old Barbie doll. You rip the arm off. You're beating somebody over the head with it. This went in a different direction entirely.
855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse, sunburn or frostbite? You can also text us on the old Civic Media app. Download it for free at your Apple or Android device.
You ever get frostbite?
Not where I had to have medical. I've had it get really, really red, and I've never gotten the gray stuff. Where you get really dangerous is the frostbite. Your skin turns gray and you can't feel it at all. But I've gotten it where you had to kind of soak hands or toes, put it in. You don't want to put it in warm water, cool water, and you get that tingly. So I have had that. Have you had that?
No, and that's the thing. I would not like to do that. Although I can't imagine why I would end up with any exposed skin out there. I'm a baby. I'm not like Bud Grant. I'm not playing shirtless out there, with Fran Tarkenton as your quarterback. I actually need a jacket on.
Right. Pat's idea of being outside in the winter is, just getting wood to bring in to burn, right? Absolutely.
What is your mom?
I don't know. What's mom?
Here?
Mom, Miss. Oh, very good. We want to come over and say hi. We have. This is a great part about this show. We have. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Absolutely. Tell folks your name and what are you doing here?
Oh, well, I'm Linda Norton, and I'm with the Eau Claire County Dems, and we were just singing over here. I don't know if you heard.
You were the ones who were singing.
Yeah.
The singing was from the Democratic booth on the other side of the building here?
Yeah, we've
You guys were
started our own.
boisterous.
After the Raging Grannies in Madison, we started our own group. We're called the Sassy Grannies.
The Sassy
The
Grannies.
Sassy Grannies.
All right, I love
Yeah.
that. This is
It's
incredible.
a new group, and I listen to you every day.
Oh, well, thank you very
I only
much.
listen to Civic Media.
Well, how cool is that? And you listen to Pat too, I assume.
Yes, I know. And when we go to our rallies downtown, I wear my Civic Media shirt, and I carry a sign that says 93.5.
Oh my gosh, that's
Media.
fantastic.
That's all I do.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have a wonderful day.
You
Thank
too.
you.
All right, thank you very much. Look at that, folks. You never know who you're going to run to in the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. Come on back. Going to talk to more friends here, including Mike McKay at WCFW. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Todd Allbaugh Show live from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in Chippewa Falls on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Madison, real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Blind Shot Social Club, a perfect blend of cool, casual dining, indoor golf with space for events, craft cocktails, and non-alcoholic drinks too. A hidden gem on Madison's east side. Blind Shot Social Club, open to everyone. BlindShotSocialClub.com.
Herbal Aspect has landed. That's right, Madison's go-to cannabis destination now has a brand new location in Sun Prairie.
Wait, 4 locations? That's a high level of convenience.
With 3 Madison locations and now Sun Prairie, a great cannabis experience is always close by. Our expert staff is here to help, whether you walk in, call, or order online. Mention Radio 420 and get a special discount. So stop by Herbal Aspect in Sun Prairie, because great cannabis isn't just a pipe dream.
Nice. I'm rolling overnight.
Herbal Aspect.
Buying a home is
All right, we'll
a lot
see
like
if
eating pistachios. Some deals pop right
Mike
off
comes
the
back.
bat, some
I'm
take
not
a
sure.
little effort, and some
We also
make
have,
you wanna
there's 2
grab a
callers
hammer.
on the line for what's worse.
Oh, is there? Okay, great. Thank you.
Lifting so you don't break a nail, or your sanity trying to crack into the housing market. We've got the perfect place.
Oh, yeah.
Pistachios in every room. So shell out your life
Are you
savings
sure?
on a
All right,
bad
all
deal.
right.
Call
All right, so
Aaron
Mike
Weber Group.
will come over then.
Today, we'll get you into a home that's nothing but perfect.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard.
So if he's coming over, what's the plan
Yep.
for the...
We'll just do those 2 people that are on hold real quick. We'll get their real quick takes on what's worse, and then we'll go to Mike.
Okay.
Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting
There he is.
NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
All right. Quick mic check, please.
Check. Hello. How's that?
Sound okay, Zombie?
Sounds good.
How's that sound?
Very good.
And you are?
About 30 seconds.
Ken, that's Ken. He's going to be on next segment. So it's just you and I for right now.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a couple of callers to do our stupid little game here, then we'll get into talking about CFW.
I heard you talking to Rusty yesterday.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Rusty's a good guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. We are live on location at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Pat has taken a little hike around there's a loop here. He's going to get more food. Right now we're enjoying one of these wonderful funnel cakes right here. Going to get to our next guest, though, in just a minute. But first of all, let's do a little cleanup on aisle 2 on our What's Worse today, sunburn or frostbite. A couple of callers. Zamers, who do we have next?
First up, we have Jack from Merrimack.
All right, Jack and Merrimack, thanks for calling in on WMDX in Madison. Jack, sunburn or frostbite, what's worse?
Well, first of all, you can get sunburn regardless of the temperature because it's ultraviolet from the sun. And I've climbed mountains all over the world. You wear sunblock when you're doing the glacier climbing because that will reflect right off the ice. and give you
All
a
right.
nasty sunburn if you're not careful. My personal opinion, after having lifeguarded for 6 years professionally, is sunburn is the worst. I'm not having any problem other than in cold weather, my nose, which has been frostbitten in the mountains. That does give me some discomfort in the cold, but I've actually had to have certain sections of skin removed because of the sunburn.
Oh my gosh!
So
Well, Jack, that's terrible. Well,
on your genetics. Yeah.
Appreciate the call, Jack. I'm up against the clock here today. Always appreciate your call there. Thanks, Jack. Let's go quickly to Angie in Monroe in beautiful Greene County. Angie, thanks for calling in. Sunburn or frostbite? What's worse?
I'm saying frostbite because frostbite can last forever, just like the sunburn apparently, like the other guy was saying. But a few years ago, it was like 60 below. I had to feed a horse out in the barn that was old.
Ooh.
Took forever.
Yeah.
3 pairs of socks and winter boots, and I'm telling you, my toes are still cold, and it was painful, just painful. So I think frostbite because of the pain.
Thanks, Angie. Really appreciate the call. We'll finish up what's worse a little bit later. But first of all, our colleague here at WCFW 105.7 in the beautiful Chippewa Valley, a legend up here in this area, and we're so happy to have him at the table. Mike McKay joins us. Mike, we'll ask you, what's worse, frostbite or sunburn?
I've got to go with frostbite.
Yeah,
it's got to be because sunburn is. You got to use sunscreen, though.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's all there is to it. But frostbite, I had a cousin of mine, actually, that had problems with frostbite.
Really?
And
it lasts forever.
It does last forever. Yeah, you don't want to mess with that at all.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thanks for playing our little stupid things here on the show.
It's great to be here, Todd.
It's really, really great.
It's nice to have you here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair.
It's my second year. I came up here last year because Kreitlow said you got it up here.
Yeah.
And my sister and brother-in-law live in Eau Claire, but I've never been here until last year. So impressed.
Mm-hmm.
So many things to do.
Yeah.
What year is this, more or less, for you for the Northern Wisconsin?
Let me see. I've been in the Chippewa Valley for 30 years.
Wow.
So 30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Incredible.
every year.
And last time we talked with Rusty Volk yesterday, so many changes and upgrades here to make this a real quality event.
You know, that's the thing. When if I go back 30 years ago when I first got here, the stage was a fourth of the size that it is now. All the buildings with the farm animals and things were all old and small, and they have done some amazing things. And Rusty is just an incredible guy. What a vision he's had over the years, and he's going to be missed. He's got big shoes to fill, but good for him. He gets to retire and enjoy himself. So
yeah, he's absolutely a great guy. Tell us a little bit, Mike McKay, about our sister station up here at WCFW 105.7, the FM side, the music side. We're on the talk side, but WCFW, speaking of legends, that's a station that people have known up here for generations.
Yeah, the call letters, actually the station itself, 105.7, has been on the air, I think it's almost 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah, the original radio station was put on, and it was just until a couple of years ago, was owned by the original owner. He ran it himself out of his home, and it was just, it's iconic. Call letters, iconic radio station, and to be a part of it has been really fun the last year and a half for me, and to be part of civic media in this format and 80s and 90s music. It's really a lot of fun, and the stuff that I play is stuff that I actually played when I first got into radio back in the early 80s, and I was doing top 40 radio, so it's full circle for me, so I love it. Yeah, it's really great.
We're so fortunate to have someone who truly is, I don't use this word lightly, a legend in this area, been on radio for so long. People know your voice, they know your name, they trust you, and to me, that's what Civic is so much about, is having people locally in these communities that folks and listeners can trust.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. That's what it's all about, and that's what I try to be on the air. Who I am on the air is who I am off the air, and I know so many people and businesses and business owners and people in the Chippewa Valley, and so it's great when, a few years ago when my other radio job ended and I was looking around, I had a lot of offers to go to other places, but this has been home for us for a long time, so it was just let's just stay here and see what happens. And this opportunity came along, and I couldn't be happier. Really,
we're really pleased to have you. I'm really honored. And the great thing is now with the Civic Media app, even if you don't live in the Chippewa Valley area, you can hear via the Civic Media app. Just go to 105.7 WCFW. You can listen to you every day.
Yeah, it's great, and we invite people to check out all the stations on Civic Media. They're all on that app, and I like the little microphone button that's on there, and it's talk back, so you can talk to us, and people can send us a voicemail. So it's great, and just connecting with the listeners is what it's all about. It's still fun.
About 30 seconds left. Anything I haven't asked you want to say?
No, I think other than I did not get the memo that I was supposed to have the big elephant ears here to join in with everybody.
I got plenty if you want to bite.
Look at that. That's enough for a family, isn't
really
it?
Is.
I mean, that's what it's all about. So, no, it's been great. I appreciate the time to stop on in here, and I know people were happy and excited to see you here, too, doing your show here.
And you're here tonight at the booth?
I'm hanging out here for a little while, yeah.
Right, so if people want to stop by today and meet Mike McKay, you can do that. And we're giving away a great trip to Chula Vista Resort. You can sign up for that. All kinds of fun. Mike McKay, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here, Todd. Thanks.
Our pleasure. You can listen to him every day at 105.7 FM and on the Civic Media app. Mike McKay, everybody. Come on back. Pat's going to come back with even more food. We're going to have to go on White Watchers at some point. And we're also going to visit with our friend Ken Szymanski, local author of the Northern Wisconsin State Bears. The Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin.
Madison's Real News and Great Conversation, 92.7 WMDX. As Wisconsin's summer weekends being spent on the lake, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
An invasive insect is moving across the United States. It might just be a matter of time before this China native bug gets to Wisconsin. I'm Stephanie Hoff for the Midwest Farm Report along with you on a Friday. Krista Hamilton joins us from the state's Pest Survey Program. She says the spotted lanternfly is on their radar, especially as vacationers come into Wisconsin. They could be carrying this nasty pest.
So we're doing lots of outreach to make sure people know what it looks like. We're urging people vacationing to avoid picking it up and accidentally.
Sorry, I move over just a little bit. So there, perfect. You're in the shot. All right, Ken, give us put your mic down, please, and give us a little mic level check.
Test 1, 2.
All right, one more time.
Summertime souvenirs, stories from our favorite fleeting season.
Oh my gosh, that's the name of the book?
Yeah.
All right, I asked Heather last night. I said, we didn't know the name of it. So what is it again?
Summertime Souvenirs. That's the main title. The rest is a subtitle, so Summertime Souvenirs is good enough.
They do threaten Wisconsin, impacting grapes, apples, and hardwood trees.
All right, that's fantastic. Thank you. We'll come back. We'll remind people of the text to win word for the Brewers tickets. Pitch. Pitch is the word. And then we'll get into a little interview with Mr. Szymanski.
All right.
There goes Pioneer across Wisconsin in her suburban truck. Thanks to Equity Livestock Cooperative. Marketing your livestock, financing your operation, and supporting the livestock.
Tom sending us a message.
Do you even want to know?
No. He had to step away from the camera from the booth a minute. He'll be back.
Keep up with Pam at MidwestFarmReport.com and on Facebook and Instagram.
Great. So we're gonna read a little bit from the book, and then a story from that, and then we'll take a break at 10 till.
Yep.
And so what do you? Is it just morning announcements, or what do you call this part? The short things you write.
Yeah, I just call it. It's a morning announcement series.
A morning announcement.
Middle
series.
school announcements.
I love it. I love it. I love every part of it. All right.
1 minute true stories about DeLong students and staff.
Friday from Chicago, grain markets closed.
And this now we're the DeLong Knights, so I call it nightlife.
I like
nightlife.
that. I like that.
November new crop beans down 6.5 cents, closing at 10.07 1/4, and new crop wheat down 9.5 cents at 5.45 a bushel. Fluid milk was mixed. The August Class 3 milk contract was 10 cents lower at 17.76 a hundredweight. The September contract is.
And is the book out yet, or it's coming out?
It should be out on Wednesday.
Wow, look at
so
that.
right now it's in. This is proof form.
Oh, I like that.
So we catch any layout mistakes before we print hundreds.
That's always a good idea, right?
Yes.
Do you have an editor that does it, or do you do it mostly yourself?
Mostly myself and my wife and my writer friends. We all team up together, this whole group forms an editor.
Wow, that's really cool. That's a lot of work, a lot of passion.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really cool.
Some heavy to severe.
It's like making maple syrup.
Yeah.
Boiling it down.
Yeah. There's no way to speed that up.
I'm meteorologist in a well. It's 73 degrees at our studio.
Can't believe you didn't land the interview with Florida.
I wouldn't want to follow him.
No, right. I can't believe it was the Democrats that were doing the singing.
I know. Went over to say hi, and I told them, "You were on the radio." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you were on the radio." They were loving it.
That's fantastic. Are you back yet, Zommers?
Yep.
All right. Just make sure you change the Chiron, please, for make it be Pat and Ken. Thank you.
How'd you learn a TV word like Chiron?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not media savvy.
I'm no news anchor like Kreitlow, you understand. But,
Plus 20 seconds.
I do pick up a word here and there.
All right. I'm impressed.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. We're live on location in beautiful Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. We're going to talk about reading in just a moment. Zommers back at the old world headquarters down in Madison, Wisconsin, spinning the tunes. We are here at Chippewa Falls, along with my co-host last couple of days. You can hear him every morning on Mornings with the conveniently named Pat Kreitlow. Pat Kreitlow every morning from 6 until... I say that because for a long time his show was called something else, and I go on. He was kind enough. He was desperate, you understand. He had to kill a couple of minutes. He said, would you come on? And then he introduces me as the conveniently named Todd Allbaugh Show. And now that his name is in his show, I just like to razz him.
I'm trying to decide if we were really that desperate that we needed to fill the time.
Not actually that desperate.
Okay, all right. Okay. Not racing to disagree with that, by the way. Reading Rainbow, that's what we play when we have author Laura Bird on.
Oh, do you really?
We'll be on our morning show later this month on the 28th, talking about books for the outdoors lovers. Books about the outdoors.
That's fantastic.
So,
Again, one of the things I love when you meet different people is talented folks and authors. I'm a big believer in books. I think I've learned, not just school books, but reading other books. It takes you places sometimes, Pat, you can't always afford to go to when you're younger.
Yes, exactly. Although I did see a funny video on Instagram about kind of an older person mocking the younger folks who have all these fluffy TV shows and everything is non-conflict, saying when we grew up, the books we had, Where the Red Fern Grows, right. Red Badge of Courage, Old Yeller. I mean, we didn't have reading class. We survived reading class.
You don't like Old Yeller?
I'm just saying there was nothing but death and doom and gloom and all these
things. Did you ever read The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck?
I have not.
One of my favorite all-time books.
Who died in that one?
I don't want to give it away.
Oh, okay. All right.
Don't sell the land. That's the story. That's the
lesson there?
Thank you. The lesson there. All right, let's get to our next guest here. Speaking of authors, he has been on this program. In fact, last time we did the show up here last summer when we did it with our friend Jane Matnair, Mr. Ken Szymanski, who is an author here. He is also an educator. Ken, welcome back to the program and welcome to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair.
Hey, thanks. Great to be back.
It's really, really a pleasure. For those that might not have heard the show last year, tell folks a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to be a published author.
All right, I've been a teacher for 30 years. I teach English, 8th grade English at DeLong Middle School. I've been writing ever since I was 13. I sat down with a spiral notebook on my parents' kitchen table and wrote a Choose Your Own Adventure book. I was naive enough to think that I could do that, and that's what I found that I love about middle schoolers is they have that naive confidence, and you can accomplish a lot as an artist when you've got that naive confidence. So I've tried to hold on to that And I've kept writing my whole life, and in 2020 I was named the Eau Claire Writer in Residence, which means I'm an ambassador for writing and an ambassador for Eau Claire through the act of writing. So I've published 3 books. I've got one coming out next week. It's called Summertime Souvenirs, and you talked about the gloom and doom in the books you read. This is the opposite of that. This is a feel-good book.
See, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. What made you choose or the name or the subject matter of Summertime Souvenirs?
All these books have a summer theme to them, and why do you buy a souvenir? It's because you want to remember something about that vacation, but every souvenir has a story behind it. And so these stories are things that I want to remember. So it's like souvenirs in the form of stories.
Wow, I love it. The book's coming out next week. Where can they find it?
That'll be at the Volume 1 local store. And maybe a couple other locations around town. I try to avoid the Amazon and the national sites and then really just keep everything with this book local.
Well, I think that's
So
fantastic.
right now it's in proof form.
Just a whole bunch of loose pages with one paper clip.
Yep. That is the only copy that exists right
Really?
now. Yeah.
Well, but here it is, ladies and gentlemen, right here at the Old Northern Wisconsin State Fair. Ken, I want to leave you enough time because you've been so kind as to give us a sample here live on the air of this new book coming out called Summertime Souvenirs. Give Ken Szymanski a little time here. He's going to read a portion of this, and we'll come back and talk about it. Here is Mr. Ken Szymanski.
All right, this story is called Stop the Ride. Before the tilt-a-whirl unleashes its madness, the announcer offers this reassurance. If at any time you want to exit the ride, give the 2 thumbs down signal and the operator will bring the ride to a stop. Though the ride hasn't even begun, I'm already woozy. Here at Como Town in St. Paul, my 7-year-old son Keegan is not afraid to ride the rides, but he is scared to ride them alone. I'm his only companion, so if I don't ride the rides with him, he won't ride at all. This will be my 5th ride of the day. I have a wobbly history with carnival rides. Even decades later, I can recall the trauma scenes. The octopus at Thorpe's June Dairy Days, the Tempest at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair, and the Zipper at Spooner Rodeo Days, where I was trapped for an extra cycle due to an unloading oversight. Simply put, I don't like spinning violently in circles, and neither does my stomach. So far on this day, there were chinks in my armor. The circular swings, rising and dropping, made my legs weak, especially the second time. The teacups, believe it or not, were worse. Put me on a big budget roller coaster, send me ziplining, bungee jumping, or skydiving, all pale in comparison to the spinning brutality of the teacups. We take a break for some cotton candy, which helps get the motion sickness aftertaste out of my mouth, but I tell Keegan no to mini donuts. In this land of excess, I must draw the line somewhere. That's when we walk past the tilt-a-whirl. Dad, I want to go on that, he says. Fearing another June Dairy Days incident, I ask, can you go on this one by yourself? He shakes his head. Thinking back, my own father didn't go on carnival rides with me. I have a hard time picturing him at an amusement park, actually, unless he's standing there, completely unamused, maybe smoking a cigarette. Not gruff, just ready to leave any time now. Former farmer, factory worker, and Korean War veteran, this wasn't really his scene. Dad died 8 months after Keegan was born, but for those 8 months, he showed his goofier side. Despite the dementia brought on by Alzheimer's disease, Dad would transform with his new grandson on his lap. Bring the baby, and for a good 15 minutes, or sometimes longer, Dad emerged from the fog, fully alert, engaging, and comical. We called it the surge. Dad would carry on with ridiculous facial expressions and hilarious one-way banter, anything for a laugh from his new grandson. Now, 7 years later, Keegan and I are buckled into the tilt-a-whirl, and the announcer is giving the 2 thumbs down speech. As we get up to speed, the ride stays true to its name, and we tilt and whirl and whirl and whirl. I feel awful. I want to give the sign, but I can't do that in front of my son. He'd never forget the day I stopped the carnival ride and we walked off in humiliation. I try to focus on one fixed point for the illusion of stability, but it's impossible when whirling around like this. I'm in trouble. Slamming from side to side, I want to give the sign. Would the operator even see me? Just a blur inside this spinning dome of doom. I must give the sign. I'm going to lose my lunch. I try to give the sign, but I can no longer lift my arms. My stomach slogs around like a washing machine, and now the operator cranks it up to the whiplash cycle. Meanwhile, Keegan howls with joy. Finally, the ride slows down. The ride stops. It feels inevitable. I'm going to throw up. I lift the safety bar. Don't puke on the ride, I tell myself. Get away from the ride. I zigzag down the stairs. Behind me, Keegan yells, "Let's do that again." I search for privacy, stagger next to the mini donut stand, and drop to my hands and knees. I worry about what Keegan is thinking. 90 miles from home, and the only person he knows is half collapsed on the blacktop. I pull a $5 bill from my wallet and hand it to him. Faking calm, I ask, "You want some mini donuts? Here, go get some mini donuts." He shakes his head, confused and scared. A young couple walks past, points at me, and laughs. Then I hear a voice. Perhaps it is just my pride or paternal instincts. Or maybe it is my late father. The voice says, "Get up. Don't let him see you like this." Like a knockdown boxer trying to prevent the fight from being called off, I lurch to my feet. Down, but not out. After a few minutes, we sit on a bench and eat mini donuts together. Each bite is a temporary relief from the seasick aftertaste. On the drive home, I nurse a strawberry smoothie. We're buckled in. My stomach is still not amused, but we're on cruise control now. The road curves, dips, and rises again. I stay focused on the horizon, something far off to keep us steady on the good ride home.
Mr. Ken Szymanski from his forthcoming book, Summertime Souvenirs. Incredible. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Story. Thank you.
I just think that's so well written and great to hear it read by the author. But isn't that the story that could be retold, Pat, from a million parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles of their kids, whether it was a Northern Wisconsin State Fair or in Minnesota?
And you don't expect to have a tale of generational differences until you've crossed that line and you're there and you see that it's your kids and now my grandkids. And we didn't do that for our kids the way that those parents have to do it for their kids. And you realize you have a story that the next generation can't tell. And now you've put them on paper to share them.
Yeah, my hope is when people hear these, it reminds them of stories that they had with their parents or things that they've forgotten about. Mm-hmm. And then my stories trigger those moments in them, and they're thinking about things they hadn't thought about in a long time and realizing that they have a lot of valuable memories too, and it doesn't have to be monumental moments in life to be important.
It can just be little things. I mean, to this day, I still know the difference. I've never smoked a day in my life, but I know the difference between Benson and Hedges and Salem because one grandparent smoked one brand and the other did the other, and that's something that will never leave my head.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't smelled either one of them, thank God, in many, many years. But again, those are the moments from your childhood that you can build a story around.
Yeah, I mean, Ken, my sister and brother-in-law, well, and Heather and I are dealing with our dad's going through an era of dementia now. And a lot of these stories, when you realize that, that's not available anymore to be retold. Because sometimes you hear your parents or grandparents say these things 100, it's like, oh, geez. But then when you can't hear them again, it just puts a different vibe on it.
Yeah, and part of like the souvenir, you want to preserve it. You want to hold on to it. And it summer is fleeting, and it always goes too fast, and life is the same way. And this is just an attempt to hold on to some of those best moments and something that you can look back on and feel good, and the reader can feel good too.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's another story about the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. It's a little longer than what we have time for today, but there is a story in there specifically about this event, right?
Right. It took place 4 years ago today. It just popped up in my Facebook memories. Yes, when my wife and kids accidentally snuck into the Blue Oyster Cult concert, and I was stuck in traffic in Chippewa, and I was missing it.
Missed the cowbell. He
Right.
missed the
Right,
cowbell.
and they were in there just for one song, and it was "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Of course
with the
it was.
cowbell. Yes.
And is it true that the cover of the book has a photo of the Northern Wisconsin State Fair?
Yes, on my
Look
sticker.
at
You can barely see it. But we were looking for pictures for the cover, and we ended up using one that I took here on my phone. I just snapped a photo, and it ended up being the perfect cover for the photo.
Wow.
So,
Awesome.
For the cover.
I really think, Pat, that again, what Ken is doing here, this emblemizes what what the Northern Wisconsin State Fair is for a lot of people. You create memories here.
Yeah, and it's not static. It changes, as we learned yesterday, from Rusty Vulcan in little drips and drabs. But over time, you go, wow, there's been so much that's different, but the memories remain. And that's the part that it's great to capture and it's great to share.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more. Ken's going to share one of his great stories, morning announcements, make you feel good to end the show. And Pat and I are going to wrap it up. Another year here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. Don't go anywhere. It is the Allbaugh Show live from Chippewa Falls across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. Very good. Very good. Really appreciate that, Ken.
Yeah.
So we'll come back. The announcement one is about a minute.
Let's say a minute 15 or
that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush it. So we'll have you do that. We'll just kind of wrap it up with you, and then if you just want to sneak out that way, then Pat and I will finish up the show.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic.
Good deal. Are those cookies gone yet?
Mom's still nursing. Are you still nursing the cookies, Mom? No. Mom, do you want to come on the show in the last minute?
You want to come on for the
you
last segment?
Yeah. You should come on. Look at it.
No, I don't want that. I want them
no,
to be gone.
No. You want you to eat them.
Eat.
Pat, if I didn't know you were a grandparent, I would now.
Eat the cookies.
Eat them.
Yeah, I am not a funnel cake
Really?
person.
Yeah, now it's gotten cold.
Whereas mini donuts, I'll pound those babies. And it's funny, they're the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
How you fry them? I don't know.
I guess. When do you head back out of town?
Well, I'm here because we're going to the show in the Twin Cities tomorrow.
That's
so
right.
I'll go back on Sunday.
All right.
Here's Cam in Appleton. My great-grandfather was able to experience the 3 shockwaves from SAR bomber testing. I don't know what that means, but anyway, all right. Whistler, listening to Richland Center. I've experienced those rides also with my kids and grandkids. Great poem. Book, but you get the same difference, yeah. Appreciate that, Whistler, if you're watching on the stream here. Jules in Mosinee on WXCO simply says, wonderful, thank you.
Oh, good.
Cam in Appleton, that story started like a trip to Pepper. I'm not reading that one. I'm not reading. Who's right?
When you mentioned Como Park right away, and that was where we went as kids. That was our, before Valley Fair.
Yeah.
That was like the world's biggest amusement park, which now could probably fit inside this building.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bay Beach in Green Bay.
It is exactly like Bay Beach, right?
I used to go to Bay Beach every year because it would be like a union event for my dad. We haven't gone in a while. Most of us have moved out of the house, but a lot of fond memories. And about 30 seconds.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Summers. Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show, live on location here at Chippewa Falls, the Northern Wisconsin State Fair on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. Yes,
What do they play soccer on?
pitch.
Oh.
Look at how smooth. That's an award-winning broadcaster right there.
Never won an award.
No, you haven't. On television?
No.
Well, you should. I will nominate him next year. All right, thank you, Pat. We appreciate it. The word of the hour, as Pat alluded to there, is pitch, P-I-T-C-H, for those 4 Milwaukee Brewers tickets. You could be eligible for the next 7 minutes by texting P-I-T-C-H on the Civic Media app. 4 Brewers tickets up for grabs at our Free Ticket Friday. P-I-T-C-H, pitch. Text the word right now. Coming up at the top of the hour, ABC, CBS, and James Kelly News. Wouldn't it be great if James Kelly did the news here?
I had no idea that you were referring to it as the James Kelly News.
Yes, the James Kelly News at the top of the hour for some of our listeners here in the Chippewa Valley. And then it is our weather forecast with Brittany Merlot and her team. Our great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, talking about those red-hot Milwaukee Brewers against the Nationals. And then the Maggie Dawn Show every afternoon between 4 and 6, followed by Pete Schwaba and Nightlight. Right now, Pat Kreitlow and I are joined at the desk by author and teacher as well here. Ken Szymanski has a brand new book coming out called Summertime Souvenirs, coming out this Wednesday. Well, more on that. Always glad to have you here, Ken. What are the other great things that you do here? You're administrator or just a
English teacher?
English teacher, and you did morning announcements, and you put together these inspirational things. You've read it to us before. Tell us just quickly about this.
Yeah, so with the morning announcements, the first bell rings and you get the lunch menu and the Pledge of Allegiance and any other announcements. And I just tried to add in these 1-minute stories, and they all have to end with the phrase, make it a great day. And they've got to be about a minute long, but just things I've noticed about certain staff members that might teach the kids a lesson.
All right, here's a morning announcement for the afternoon by Ken Szymanski.
All right. During a hot September practice, DeLong soccer players were running sprints across the field, but a few of the boys weren't giving it their all. Maybe it was the heat and the humidity. Perhaps it had been a long week. But after a couple of reminders to hustle, a frustrated Coach Chang blew the whistle and gathered the team. The boys knew what was coming. "We're not running these sprints to punish you," Coach Chang said. "It is to condition you for the game. If we are tied in the fourth quarter, the team that can still run will win." He let that sink in and continued. "Now, if you guys play your hardest and come up short, your coaches have no problem with that. But if you know you could have tried harder, then you let your team down. So you can't be practicing, how we have to say it, half donkey." Because what do we always say happens in the game when you practice half donkey? The players grinned and responded in unison. "You play half donkey." So whether it's sports practice or schoolwork, don't be a donkey. Instead, be a stallion. Gallop at full speed and make it a great day.
Ken Szymanski, morning announcements. I love it, Ken. I love it. It makes you feel better, right? Positivity. You always bring positivity to this show. Thanks for being one of our great educators at our public schools here in the Eau Claire school system. You guys just do yeoman's work. Appreciate everything you're doing, Ken.
All right, thank you. Appreciate being here.
Well, your new book coming out, Summertime Souvenirs. We'll keep plugging that and talking about that. Welcome back on the show anytime. Thanks, Ken.
All right, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Ken Szymanski, everybody, glad to have him here. And, of course, glad to have our friend and colleague, Pat Kreitlow. What a couple of days, Pat. It's been fantastic. Before we run out of time, many thanks to Kaylee High, who brought in her chicken Sue. So thanks to Kaylee and Sue for coming. And her boyfriend, Rudy, as well, was here. We forgot to call him out.
I feel like you were trying to top Pigeon Quest.
I know, right? Yeah, I know.
Pigeons every Wednesday. You come up with a live chicken.
Well, it's one chicken. Many thanks also to Josh Showman, the Washington County Executive and candidate for governor, for stopping by. BJ Hollers and Steve Dayton from Fireside Productions on their new documentary on Coob. Of course, Ken Szymanski, our own James Kelly was here as well. Thanks to him, and our own Mike McKay from WCFW, and of course Heather and Mike and Mama Linda for helping out on the show.
Linda's still here and has just been going to town on the cookies in there.
She loves a good cookie.
I know. Is she a good cookie baker?
She's a fantastic cookie. Yeah, she makes really good chocolate chip cookies. Her favorite thing, I think, that Heather, I like the homemade apple pie in the fall.
Homemade apple pie.
That's great.
Oh,
yeah, it's really, really good.
good. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Pat, any final reflections here on the Northern Wisconsin State Fair as we wrap it up for another year?
I never have. If I could, I would shout this fair from the rooftops to everybody. Like I said yesterday, it's the Goldilocks of fairs. Not too big, not too small. It is just the perfect thing that you can cover in a full day, or come out a couple of days in a row. Like you heard Rusty Volk say yesterday. One of the first things he noticed was that people were only coming for one day, and he wanted people to come back. And so over the 17 years that he's been running the fair, they've added different attractions, changed things around, and you got to love that because we've all been to things where they get comfortable, they get complacent and they don't update things. And here they do, but not in such a large way that they lose their character.
Yeah.
And it just makes this such a wonderful community. It's one of the best parts about being in Wisconsin is when you have people that want to come together, make a fair or an event like that happen. I mean, when we can even attract high-priced major market radio talent like Todd Allbaugh to come to our little fair, I'm telling you, we're doing something right here.
But none of that's true, especially the high-priced. But I'm glad it's just a lot of fun.
Look at all the lights, and you cost us a lot. You are a high dollar. Oh, you meant pay.
They're LED lights. They're LED, Patrick. But thank you in all seriousness. It was great hanging out with you and your lovely wife, Sherry, Dr. Kreitlow, to me. It's great having her along. Thanks to the family here for doing this, to Rusty Volk, for our entire team in WCFW, and also on 93.5 The Tap up here for helping do all of this. We really appreciate it. And the Northern Wisconsin State Fair is definitely some, in my book, Pat, that makes Wisconsin great.
Oh, without a doubt. And, hey, safe travels next week. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Next, we'll be with you next week. On Monday, you can hear Pat starting at 6 a.m. from 6 until 9 across the network. And then Jane Matner, Greg Bach, and I back on the road Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll see you back at the home world headquarters on Monday. Whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, keep banging your drum. Time for a funnel cake, Todd. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Maggie Dawn is next. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Real money for this trip.
Okay, everybody. We appreciate you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.